China just said that it plans to stand firm against US tariffs. What's going on, guys? It's Ricky. And if you guys have not seen the news, we do not want a tariff war, but we are not afraid of one. This is what the president of China is responding back to Trump after Trump, if I'm not mistaken, implemented or assigned a 100% tariff, I think up to 130% tariff on China that is supposed to start November 1st. Now, supposedly there is news that now this is all being backtracked, that no, Trump is saying that we don't want to put China into a recession. That's not what we want. We respect China. It truly is. You talk about it, you threaten, and then you push back. So just providing you guys an update. You guys can make of this of what you want. If you think this is bullish news, if you think this is bearish, I still think that markets need time to decide based off of the event that happened on Friday. This isn't even really the main thing that I want to talk about. I want to talk about what everyone is like really scared of right now. First off, I'm not big into crypto. If you've watched any of my videos, you know that I'm not a fan of it. I think it's a huge speculative asset. And I think that anything that is this risky needs to be treated as such. So therefore, you don't use leverage, and you especially, just very common sense, just don't use money you don't have, right? This is where leverage can be a very dangerous thing, especially in these overbought and irrational markets like the crypto market. I mean, everything is overbought, right? I think we all understand that. But the crypto market is more leveraged and more overbought than ever before. And it makes sense on why this happened on Friday. Crypto liquidators soar $9.5 billion in 24 hours, the largest single day event ever. Bigger than Luna, bigger than COVID, bigger than FTX. We just witnessed history. And this was just a moment of this. You're even seeing reports that it's not just this individual. It says crypto investor and influencer Konstantin found dead in his Lamborghini amid historic market crash. No trade is worth a life. And I hope that this isn't all true, because I also saw a report that said over 2,000 crypto traders supposedly have harmed themselves in response to this crypto crash. Like, that should be a huge red flag, that people are being irrational, that people are being unstable with the exposure that they are choosing to take on. And that's all that I want this video to be about. When I see things like this, when I see also screenshots being shared on Reddit saying that you have a deficit of $212,000, this is where the margin call comes in. People often comment, they're like, oh, this is just another amazing dip buy opportunity for the current market. I agree for the most part, right? Just like we talked about on Friday, markets sold off. We made our money shorting, but we closed out the trade. We know that markets are incredibly irrational, and we know that they can aggressively recover. But guess what? Guess who cannot buy the dip? Those that were encouraged to buy at all-time highs. They were buying all those shit coins, all those meme coins. They're buying BTC at all-time highs because every crypto platform and every crypto account is encouraging them to buy at all-time highs. Why is it? Why is it that with not just crypto, but any like speculative company such as like Oklo, and why do you always feel the need to have to convince others to see value? Like why does Michael Saylor always have to encourage others to invest in Bitcoin? Why is the value not kind of like self-explanatory? Like when you can look at NVIDIA, you don't see Jensen, the CEO, trying to convince others to invest in them. It's natural because the value is there, right? Why is it? And let me explain my opinion. I think it's because we all see through the gimmick. That's all it is. They need you to believe what it is that they're telling you. If it's so valuable and it's so limited, then you buy it up all yourself. Buy all the XRP. Buy all the Oklo. Buy all the TM, the Bitcoin, the Ethereum. Buy all the Trump coin. Buy it all. Keep it all. Oh, it's so limited. It's the future. Then keep it all. Why do you want me to buy it? If it's so valuable because it's all You guys are just convincing one another to pump up the price. And then when moments like this of despair happen and reality sink in, because nothing new was shared on Friday, it was the same issue that we had 5 months ago. And what happened, especially in the crypto space, markets pulled back a little bit, but what happened in the crypto space was that it's the over leveraged traders that now can't even, not just not buy the dip, now they owe money or they got instantly liquidated. That's the problem. It's, they should have known better. They should have bought the dip. They should not have sold. A lot of them, to my understanding from what is being shared, again, I don't trade crypto. I don't trade a platform that allows me to use 40x, 50x leverage. If you guys did not see this, Brian Armstrong, the CEO and founder of Coinbase, said that we just bumped up the max leverage from 20x leverage to 50x leverage on international perpetual futures. A bunch of traders asked for this update. Let us know what else we can add. Correct, because what people needed more now than ever before is more leverage. What do you think and why do you think the event happened on Friday? Because traders were simply over leveraged. They got forced to sell. But that's what these platforms want. Think about how they make money. When you get margin called, they're able to liquidate your position. By offering you more leverage, yes, in hindsight, if direction is favorable, you can technically make more money. Leverage is great when it's in your favor. Leverage is a terrible tool to use to borrow money. Imagine this, to lose money, especially at elevated levels. This is why we saw, it's not an opinion, this is why we saw the largest single event ever of crypto being liquidated for this specific reason. We all know that markets are irrational right now. There's nothing wrong that, again, I don't believe in Bitcoin. I don't believe in Ethereum. I don't believe in XRP, but you're an adult. And if you truly do believe that it's the future, respecting that it's a speculative asset, buy it with a dollar amount that you can tolerate. And be aware and inform yourself of the risk. But if you believe in it, I think just like anything, you're able to and should be encouraged to just do your own due diligence and invest or trade whatever you see value in, as long as you're aware of the risk. Please, at these elevated levels, none of you are getting good deals. Please understand the risk of leverage. When you have a 20x, 40x, 50x leverage position, what is it that these platforms give you? 5, 10% of a pullback before you get liquidated, and then you lose everything. For what? But Ricky, we need to make it. It's the only way that Again, well, if all you have is $1,000 or $10,000, then I just don't see why you're just choosing to give it away at overbought levels. Now, yes, I agree that you don't necessarily need to time the market, but also you don't need to be so naive to think that buying it nearly at all-time highs when all the red flags are present is a smart thing to do. But it's because of FOMO. Again, every crypto platform, every crypto account, all they ever encourage you to do is to borrow, use leverage, and buy at all-time highs. In my opinion, this is why crypto will never succeed, because all they ever do is try to convince one another of the value and then rug pull everyone. They're truly the OTC, but they're just an entire market. That is what crypto is. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure that there's some, crypto investors out there that do talk about risk management, that do talk about the importance of leverage, of when to use it and when not to use it. But it's just so flooded by all these Reddit users and traders, and you can just see the BS through everything. So I am not surprised by the actions that we saw on Friday. And now to hear that more leverage is being offered, it's like, let the games begin, right? When are we going to offer 100x leverage next so they can really make it all back? Why stop at 100x? Why not offer 1,000x, right? If that's truly what these users want. Again, leverage is so incredibly risky. There's nothing wrong with your money if you want to invest it in high risk assets, just keep in mind how dangerous leverage can be. And I really hope that you can learn from other people's experience so you don't have to learn from losing it all yourself. One of the best quotes that came across today was people actually like, how did my frog and cat coin fall 99% in 30 seconds? Bro, listen to what you just said. And again, anytime that I have ever tried making videos like this, people comment and they're like, you just don't understand. You're just hating on these meme coins. What is there not to hate about? They're nothing. There's no value behind it. There's no utility. It's absolutely nothing. It's truly just a pump and dump. It's a gimmick. And you're right. I like to shed light on the risk behind those gimmicks. My content has always been looking out for beginners. If I talk about the risk and you watch the video and you understand it and you still choose to trade it or invest it, at least you're doing it intentionally. You know that it comes at a greater form of risk. So maybe if you have, $100,000 to your name, maybe you'll only approach this with $500 or $1,000, to each their own, right? You know it's a gamble. You know the risk it offers. So you choose to put yourself in a position that's easier to tolerate. That's not my problem. My problem is with those that are always being convinced not to take risk into consideration. And then you see stories like this. This is really sad. It says, all my savings, 6 years of dollar cost averaging, got liquidated last night. I was one of the people who never tried to time the market. I was telling others to stay away from leverage, just dollar cost average, yet here I am. Maybe this sad story will contribute to the community. I guess people have different reasons to why they end up using leverage. I don't need to be convinced that Bitcoin is here to stay and that it will go up. That's why I was all in dollar cost averaging. Anything left out of my monthly salary would go into Bitcoin. However, in the last 1 to 2 years, my monthly expenses rose significantly thanks to inflation. And I was upset about not being able to buy as much Bitcoin. This is where FOMO kicks in, as I could in the past. This is what has led me to the idea that I can make up this period by using 1 to 2 leverage trades. It all went downhill from there. Last night, I lost everything. As of today, my total net worth is not far from the salary I will receive from this month. So pretty much saying that whatever he gets paid this month is what his net worth is. Everything I got was wiped out, and I'm 36 years old. The realization of my age, how much time it took me to get to this point that I was at before touching leverage. Imagine all things that money could fix today if I just spent it. All those feelings and thoughts are devastating beyond my ability to describe it. The feeling of shame, the feeling of letting down family and relatives. I won't ever admit to what has happened to anyone, and I will have to live with this feeling of shame, likely forever. So I've seen posts of suggestions that people are suicidal. I am not, but I very well understand why others may be going through this horror. What's next for me? I'm trying to convince myself that being 36 years old and having nothing but a car loan and a few pieces of furniture is nothing to worry about. I still have my job, and hopefully a few years ahead, I will be able to build my cash position and just wait for the cycle to end, which it always happens. Bitcoin and crypto always crash, and they lose about 50 to 80% of their value. Feel free to look it up. It's not an opinion, it's a fact. And starting to deploy cash as Bitcoin's price drops below 90 to 80,000 again. Maybe in the next 6, 7, 8 years, I will get back to the point of where I was that I got wiped out. And of course, I tell myself I will never touch leverage again. This is still a nightmare situation. I'm coping hard, but what else can I do? I feel helpless. If you are new to Bitcoin and you think that you are late, I was there when the price hit $4,000 low in 2020 and was dollar cost averaging before all throughout today back to round zero savings at the age of 36 with intentions to just get back to buying at whatever prices I will get. You can roast me, but this can happen to you. No matter how smart or seasoned you are, one day maybe have a random valid reason on why to take just a little risk. And the moment you know it, you are down to zero. Don't trade. Don't use leverage. Behind every lucky shot with gains posted online, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of lives destroyed. I mean it. Good luck to everyone. Now, again, I don't know who this person is. This was something that was just shared on my Discord, and this person is also, I'm guessing, part of a Reddit forum. But how sad, right? Like we saw, not just with Bitcoin when it went from 122,000 all the way down to 104,000, but like we saw with XRP, right? From over highs of 280 to lows of 180. I mean, it lost over 50% of its value in just a matter of hours. There is no, oh, you should have just held. You cannot hold when you are getting margin called in crypto, when you have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50x leverage. To my understanding, you get liquidated instantly. This shouldn't discourage you from investing in risky or high risk assets. If that's what you want to do, you're an adult. You can do whatever it is that you want. But learning from other people, leverage is incredibly risky, especially at elevated levels. Please, if you take anything away from this video, it's how important it is to be mindful of your position size and your exposure. That if worst case scenario does present itself, that again, you don't put yourself in such a tough position that you end up losing everything and you simply cannot tolerate the loss. Again, this is coming from someone that I don't care about crypto. If you don't need to convince me on why I don't want to be convinced, keep it all. Buy it all yourself. I don't want any of it. I don't care. The entire industry of crypto irritates me because of moments like this. Moments like this, no one likes to assume responsibility. And they're like, well, no, I mean, this like, there's just the lack of regulation and the lack of structure and the lack of value is crazy to me. It truly is the wild, wild west in that market. And understand that that does not come without high risk. So if you're okay with partaking that, we're all wired in different ways, to each their own. I'm not here to convince you to not take advantage of crypto if you see the value in it. Just as you shouldn't feel the need to convince other people to buy your shitcoin at all-time highs just because you're currently up right now. Because we all know that with Bitcoin and with crypto, it always crashes 50 to 80% when the bear market presents itself. And it always does. And just like we got a taste of it on Friday, we will see how things will continue to develop. I wouldn't be very surprised that markets can recover, especially stock market, recovers back to all-time highs if this ends up getting thrown under the rug and it was just some bad news that got overreacted, right? But that's easy for people like you and I to say that we're not over leveraged. So what can we take away from this is you should never be scared to take advantage of opportunities or even high risk plays. You should always just be mindful of at overbought levels of the leverage that you currently expose. And if you cannot tolerate it, then maybe it's not the worst idea to just settle down to your actual cash value position or have enough cash on the sidelines that if a pullback does happen, like we saw on Friday, that maybe on Monday, right? If you have the cash available, you're actually able to take advantage of it versus getting margin called and getting liquidated and now just feeling hopeless. So again, you guys let me know down in the comments section what you think. We'll talk about this a little bit more in tomorrow's live trading session. If you want to tune on in, second link down below. I trade live every single morning right at market open. I focus in the stock market. I don't focus anything about crypto. This was just something that consistently got asked for me to kind of like share my thoughts on. And everyone knows how strongly I feel against crypto at elevated levels. So obviously I had my thoughts to share, but I wanted to make it very clear that just because I think something doesn't mean that I believe everyone should stay away. I respect that people have different risk tolerance. My thing is just make sure that you can tolerate the risk and you're mindful of your position size. So like always, hope that earned a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.